Hello all. In this session I am going to clarify few of the doubts raised by the students, maybe the viewers, by watching the video lectures. So this session I just call it as doubts clarification. Okay, I just want to clarify few of the doubts. Now the viewers were asking doubts based on the videos whichever they are watching, and here all these doubts I am going to cover are based on machine drawing subject. Okay, so in drawing you have many doubts. Maybe doubts are somewhat silly, but still it is better to clarify all the time, because that will add some value to your understanding. Okay, and in and around online I am individually texting them, clarifying their doubts, but this time I thought of coming making a video so that it will be clarified with few other which they have in their mind, out of which recently I got a question from one of the viewer about a knuckle joint. Okay, I have texted them, but still I think it is not clarified properly. Again and again he is trying to put the same question. I thought of give some kind of clarification here. Coming to a knuckle joint, the simple sketch I would like to draw here. The joint is something like this. This we call it as the fork end. Try to understand the terminology. This is the fork end, and from here I'll try to take some other color so that it will be clear. From here this is some other component which we call it as the eye end. Alright, forget about these dimensions related to fork and eye end, and there will be a knuckle pin from top to bottom. From here maybe this is the knuckle head, followed by this is the shaft, okay, or the shank portion of the knuckle. Okay, this is how the complete arrangement is going to be. So let me talk about the knuckle pin first, so that you have a clarification here. So the knuckle pin will be something of this kind. This is the head portion, this is the shank portion, something of this kind it is going to be. And here this thickness of the head is 0.5d. 0.5d is the thickness, and the this we call it as the diameter, because from the front it look like a line, a linear horizontal, but you need to imagine like it is a 3D component. So here it is going to be 1.5d. D represents the diameter. D represents diameter. So overall height, and remaining thing is the height that you need to remember. Now here the question is this particular diameter is standard or not. Yes, it is standard. You can't take it according to your convenience. That 1.5d has to be maintained. This 1.5d is a standard value. Even the 0.4d or whatever the other values related to eye end and the fork end are standard. Okay, how can we call it as a standard? Means these specifications are universal. Okay, these are universal, and the proportions will change. The value or the proportions will change based on the diameter given to you in the question. Accordingly the value will increase or decrease depending on the d value. That you need to remember. This 0.5d will remain same all the time. Okay, these calculations or these specifications will make it standard from one of the subject called design of machine members, DMM subject. DMM 1, 2 will be there. These are the subjects you come across in mechanical third year. where we try to design the component. Based on what criteria we design the component means, here if you look at this particular knuckle joint, if I am talking about design of machine members, then this is going to take a tensile force on either sides. Okay, so this fork can try to pull this way and iron try to pull this way. Then the load is going to taken by the knuckle pin. When the load is going to taken by the knuckle pin, what happens here? The head will remain same, but the question is the knuckle pin shaft side may deviate its position, something like this. It may bend, deformation may takes place, it may deform. Deformation may be of this side, or the initial component is something of this kind initially, later stage it got deformed. Okay, if the force is higher at the iron, then it is going to deform towards this side. If it is higher at the fork end, then it is going to deviate towards this side, maybe. It all depends. Alright, deformation, it all depends. But more or less, ultimately the knuckle pin going to take the complete forces. Okay, so the specifications, we make it standardized based on the calculations, like how much force it is going to take on either sides. Number one point, we'll try to, for example, maybe 100 newtons initially we'll apply on either sides, then we increase it to 200, then to maybe 250, then to 300. So gradually we'll try to increase the load on either sides, and we'll try to analyze the knuckle pin. We'll come to one conclusion where deformation will takes place. Maybe at 200 newtons there is some deviation or deformation of the knuckle pin, then we'll try to change the material of the knuckle pin. That is also one of the criteria. Okay, if you try to change the material, then it may go, it may take further load also. Okay, so in that way we need to think. But coming to machine drawing, we no need to think about the design part. Only thing what we need to do is how to draw the sketch. Okay, where to start the sketch and where to end it. Okay, starting point and end point is very much important in case of machine drawing or engineering graphics also. Okay, simply can't start anywhere on your drawing sheet. Okay, you have to think about the component, where to start, whether I need to start, maybe if this is the assembly, I need to start from the midpoint or from left or from right, which is the best way to start with. Okay, whatever the assembly or whatever the individual components you are going to deal with, try to start with the midpoint, from the center always of the major component, main body. Then everything becomes so simple, because when you start from the middle, all other things become symmetrical to each other. Okay, when the things are symmetric, then what happens? You can distribute the dimensions, then that becomes so simple. Okay, this is the one thing they asked me, like always head is going to be 0.5D and the diameter is 1.5D, because the component is three-dimensionally. If you look at, the component is going to be of maybe this kind. Okay, three-dimensionally if you look at the component, feel like it is 3D component more or less. Okay, then this diameter I am talking about is 1.5D. Alright, 1.5D. Okay, another one more question by the same student or the viewer is, what is the distance, what is 1.2D, how you fixed it? I haven't fixed this 1.2D. that is from the axis of knuckle pin till the center of the fork. Center in sense where this is 1.2D. Center means where exactly you try to trace this curve. Okay, where you try to trace this curve, that distance from the center of the knuckle pin is going to be 1.2D. even that is also standardized. Why can't it be 1.5D? means it can't be 1.5D, no need. It can't be 1D also. that you need to think about, because after doing now, just with this simple explanation, you might have understood now permutations and combinations will be taken into consideration. So they'll go with different options, different analyzing techniques, and they come to one simple conclusion that yes, this is feasible at some point of time. Okay, this is how it will go. So not only knuckle joint, any other assembly you will take, maybe stuffing box, screw jack, or plumber block, or individual components of hexagonal nut, square nut, all these dimensions are standardized, used universally. Okay, this is the one doubt I would like to clarify. And always try to start from the center. Consider a vertical line followed by a horizontal line and start from the center. Okay, if you want to draw two lines at an offset distance of 10 mm, then consider two lines with an offset distance of 10 mm, then consider from this middle here 5 mm, 5 mm. Now draw whatever the line you would like to draw. Okay, then this distance is 10 mm in between. Okay, so symmetrically you can explore the component and you can draw the component the way you like. That is what I mean. Okay, try to practice more and more so that it will get clear. Further, you can, if you have any doubts, you can raise the question in the comment box. Let me go with the second one. Let me go with a fresh sheet. Second doubt I would say is somebody by the name Rohan asked me a question: why don't you use a drafter, or maybe a protractor or any other drawing instrument to draw any of the sketches? Here my intention is to feed the student or the viewer, okay, to know the concept. If you understand the concept, then he can do miracles. Okay, no need to draw all the time with the drafter to make you understand. Imagine that I'm trying to come up with a classroom kind of effect here, like I'm assuming this as the board and where I'm trying to draw something with a chalk. Okay, so that kind of effect I would like to give to the student here, so that something comes in his mind conventionally, maybe not exactly, so conventionally he get an idea and he'll be comfortable. I want to make the student comfort first. Okay, so he should feel that, he or she should feel that the subject is simple, first point, and you can easily make it, you can easily pass the subject. Okay, these are the points I would like to cover. And finally he can think about scoring. Okay, initially, because machine drawing or whatever the drawing you consider at the engineering level, everything is initially looks very much tough, but the times goes on, if somebody help you out in understanding the things properly with a simple concept, simple logics, then everything goes so smooth. That is my idea actually, Rohan. So drawing with once you understand the concept, you can draw easily with a drafter by using or a scale or a protractor, any other instrument. And one more point here I would like to mention is students are not having much of patience to listen to a video of half an hour, 1 hour, or more than that. Okay, so in that scenario, if I try to use a drafter by setting everything and all the drawing instrument, it may take minimum of 1 to 2 hours to just to make you understand, because in and around I need to talk and give, I need to discuss a lot to communicate you properly, so it will take lots and lots of time. So conventionally I'm trying to present you so that you be in the comfort zone, you feel that the subject is so simple. That one point is very much important in anyone's mind. If you could feel it from your side that the subject is easy, then definitely I can tell you, you can pass the exam. Okay, I am reducing this 1-2 hours from 20 to 30 minutes. So I hope you can understand my a problem or from the student's point of view. Okay, this is the only thing, nothing else than that, Rohan. Okay, any other queries you can directly question me other than this. And the next question after this, next question what I found is, one of the suggestion I would say, there is a audio lag. Yeah, there is an audio lag, because when I upload more and more videos in a single stroke, then some things will be ups and downs. Yes, you are right. You find this audio lag in when I explain threads in machine drawing, so that I agree. So I keep this in mind, and I just don't try to repeat this for further upcoming maybe videos. Okay, thank you for making me aware. This is the one comment I have seen, okay, in the comment box. Thank you for that. And one more suggestion, maybe a comment from one of the viewer is, when I was talking about a cut section, why you cut the material, what is the reason behind, and conventional representation of showing a material. When the discussion came into picture, I was talking about cutting a material, and I was talking, when the discussion is prolonged, it was also about cutted. Okay, if you could now, one of the viewer simple comment was like, will it be okay to use a term called cutted in spite of cut? I have used cut and cutted both in that discussion, but it is all about past and present tense or future tense. Nothing wrong in that. Cutted will come into picture when the discussion got prolonged about a conventional thing of a material. That is not at all an issue. Okay, you can call it, when you are talking about some material already has been section, then you can use the term, not it doesn't make any difference or much difference. Okay, thank you again for that point. Again, not at all a problem. It could be kind of, it could be kind of suggestion also, not at all a problem. And the next one is by Madhu. He has commented, or his doubt is, what is D? Whenever I talk about any of the hexagonal or square nut bolt, hexagonal, square, or any other component, when I explain in my videos or lectures, I talk about D. D value will be given to you in the question. I used to say this all the time. This is the given value. Okay, what is this given value? Nothing but given value is diameter only. Diameter. D nothing but D represents diameter. D is dia. Okay, it is not compulsory all the time to give you a dia. He may give you a radius also. Okay, nothing but D by 2. Diameter. D represents diameter. That's it, Madhu. Okay. Then other than this, one more question is from Nisha. One more question from Nisha. The question is, how to, I said in my discussion, you can now conventional representation of material, will try to draw a rectangular box followed by, will try to show the section conventionally with an angle of 45 degrees by maintaining an offset distance of 2 mm. Okay. In the flow, what I said is, you can, even if you want, you can represent the same conventional representation with the help of a circle also. That is all your wish. Shape could be anything. It is not compulsory that all the time it need to be a square or a rectangle. If this is the case, her question is how to maintain 45 degrees in a circle. Is first question. So if you draw a circle, circle will definitely have a center. Okay, with respect to that center, what you try to do is align your drafter to 45 degrees. Let us imagine that this is the drafter which is aligned to 45 degrees. This is the horizontal scale, this is your vertical scale. For your understanding, I am explaining you. Okay, this is maintaining 45 degrees. Draw the 45 degrees line from the center. Okay, by maintaining an offset distance of 2 mm, make a mark and draw one more, and from here make a mark of 2 mm, draw one more. Likewise you can go, not at all a problem. Okay, 2, one more. Only thing is you have to adjust your drafter up and down. That is the only thing you need to do. You can trace it, not at all a problem. And further, one more question from the same student or the viewer is same. One more question is how to mark glass representation. Glass representation going to be something like this, no? 2. Okay, but the line has to be straight. Okay, her question is how to maintain offset distance. Okay, you need to take care of few things when you draw about a glass, because you need to consider the width of the rectangle also. If the width of the rectangle is 10 mm, leave about some 3 mm on either sides. Okay, then draw the lines with an angle of 45 degrees. Here also we need to maintain angle of 45 degrees. 45 degrees. Okay, for example, here I am maintaining an angle of 45 degrees and drawing a line something like this, and maintain offset distance of 2 mm, draw one more line. Okay, for example, if this line with a length of this first line maintaining a length of 10 mm, maintaining a length of 10 mm, now this should be 25% of whatever the line you have drawn. Okay, so try to draw the length of 2 or 2.5. It is not compulsory to maintain 25%, but for your understanding I am telling you. So that you can maintain 2.5 mm, that is fine. But I am again repeating, this is not compulsory to maintain. Okay, so it should look like something like this: the longer length, the shorter one, and the shorter one. It should be parallel. First point, parallel, and this gap should be equivalent to this gap. That is important. Next, whatever the gap you have maintained, whatever the gap, let me take one more color. Whatever the gap you have maintained between these two lines, same gap should be maintained here. Okay, and again, if you try to reduce some by mistake, if you reduce some 1 mm or 0.5 mm also, doesn't matter. Okay, that also you can do. But when it comes to the conventional representation, the representation should be something like this. There should be a line of 45 degrees, parallel to that one more shorter line, and parallel to one more, and this line both should be of same length, maintaining an angle of 45 degrees, and whatever the gap you maintain here, same gap should be maintained here. In general, we will go with some 2 mm. Okay, it is not compulsory all the time to go with 2 mm, but better to go with 2 mm when you don't have too many things to draw. Okay, if you have many things to draw, you can go up to 3 mm also, doesn't make much difference, because as we are drawing only 2 or 3 lines. Okay, two sets of lines or 3 sets of lines, no, so that doesn't matter. For example, this is the conventional representation of a glass. What I try here is simply 45 degrees long line and a short line, one more short, long line, short line, one more short. Okay, here the important thing you should keep in mind is offset distance. Offset should be 2 mm. Okay, and angle should be 45 degrees. Okay, and short line length should be equal, but don't try to measure it. Conventionally assume it and draw it, because you should not waste time while drawing these conventional representations. Okay, representing them is more important with neatness, clarity, elevation. Okay, this is what I would like to mention. If you have any other things to ask, you can still post it in the comment box. And one more question is from some other guy. Dimensions considered actual dimensions or not. Whatever the dimensions that I am following here, the question is dimensions that you are following in videos are actual or conventional. No, all of them are actual dimensions only. Actual nothing but standard. All are standard dimensions, universally used by the mechanical field people. Okay, and as I said, the proportions will change based on the diameter given to you. Okay, and there is a slight variation when it comes to theoretical part and practical application. Okay, if you go to industry, the standard may slightly change. It is not compulsory to change also. For a few of the cases, slightly there might be some variation. Okay, so my answer is all are standard dimensions. Whatever I am using in my videos, I am following all standard textbooks only. Okay, and one more question from Manoj. One more question from Manoj is he is requesting me to produce some production drawing videos. Based on production drawing, he want me to produce some lectures. On your request, I have started a new playlist on production drawing for your confirmation. If I hope you have seen already, it was already started, and I have presented stuffing box in my first video of production drawing, and based on your request and few other requests, I have already started. So please watch and give your valuable suggestions. Okay, and let me clear with a fresh sheet. I would like to take one more doubt. One more question from one of the viewer. Not only one viewer, from many of them. What I got is, what is M30 bolt? What is M30 bolt? Okay, it is not only M30, you find M20 also, you find M16 also. Okay, whatever the value you find here, all are diameters. Okay, all these 30, 20, 16, 12, whatever, all these numbers represents the diameter. Okay, diameter, and this M represents metric information. Okay, this 30 diameter is of metric information, nothing but 30 mm, 20 mm, 16 mm. Okay, so this number represents the diameter of that particular bolt with metric information, for your understanding. Okay, I hope I am clear. And next question from one of the student or viewer called Vamshi. The question is it better to use Creo or CATIA? For maybe better usage for modeling or surface modeling or wireframe modeling or drafting, maybe his question. So because most of my videos I am trying to present by using SolidWorks modeling software, so he kept this question. He is supposed to keep the same in CAD video lectures, but fine. Yes, Creo is having less number of tools. The usage is very much user friendly, and even in CATIA is also fine, but you have more number of tools. Students will definitely get confused with those tools, more and more number of tools. But more or less, it is not about whether you are using Creo, CATIA, SolidWorks or any other high-end softwares. It is all about your comfort, individual company's comfort. Okay, if you are comfortable with one, you can go with that particular tool. It's always better to go with that kind of tools only. Okay, so in any of the softwares like SolidWorks, CATIA, Creo, Any of the software you can do any of the model, any typical model can be developed, that can be drafted, assembled, animated, any other task can be performed. It all depends on every individual how he going to use them. Okay, this is one point I would like to mention. But I am very much used to Creo software and SolidWorks software. I am very much comfortable with Creo and SolidWorks also. CATIA mostly used in automobile industry. So you can, even if you understand one software properly, then rest of the software becomes so comfortable for any of the beginner. Okay, you can learn by your own. And one more question is for drafting, Creo is better. From Prem is one of the viewer. He is asking me about drafting. Drafting is one of the module, no? Drafting or drawing. This is one of the module in any of the modeling software. So is it better? Which is the better one? Creo is better or not? Yes, my suggestion is it is always better. Okay, as I said for the previous question, it all depends on your comfort zone. For example, to develop a simple draft sheet, one tool is taking some, for example, 20 steps to finish off, and another software maybe is taking some 12 steps to finish off with same effectiveness, same precision, okay, same other things. Then better to go with second option only, no? So it all depends on you. You have to analyze things, you have to think about and go accordingly. All modeling softwares are very good. It all depends on every individual how his approach is towards that particular software. And if you learn any of the softwares anyways, if you are good at it, you can get a job and you can do best in that particular option. Okay, this is the one of the student asked me. And other than this, many questions I have seen, many comments on my videos. Most of them, 99% of them are positive comments. Thank you for all the viewers for your best support. And one of the student maybe from Polytechnic asking me about these topics are relevant to Polytechnic topic. Yes, all my videos on machine drawing related to, you can relate yourself to Polytechnic subject or at the engineering level, engineering second year you find this particular subject. So yes, more or less both are relevant, so you can use them, you can understand them. If you have anything to ask, you can ask me. I'm always here to help you out. Okay, these are the few comments I would like to answer. And anything about any new subject, if you want to learn any new concept, if you want to learn, because I'm going to start off with few more important subjects like fluid mechanics, engineering mechanics, hydraulic machines, maybe automobile engineering, some other upcoming playlist you could see in my channel. Okay, please follow, share, subscribe, and so that more and more students will get benefited. That is my only motto. This is all for this particular video. If you have anything to ask, any suggestions if you want to make, you can please use the comment space given below. Thank you for now.